All right. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Kalani. In this video, we're going to be looking at how you can play different hand patterns on a drum in a way that's super simple. And rather than give you a bunch of different patterns to play, I'm going to show you a couple concepts that are going to allow you to play all the patterns you want and generate your own patterns and play the music that you want to play or that you feel serves the music or the people you're playing with the best. All right, so welcome back. This video is going to be taking place in two parts. First thing I want to point your attention to this click. We've got a 4/4 click. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a triangle sound at the beginning. Listen to that. 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be underneath everything I'm going to show you for reference. I'm going to show you a simple hand pattern, alternating hand pattern that you can use as a foundation to play all sorts of patterns. And the reason that this video exists for you guys is that I see a lot of people trying to learn different patterns, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's lots of named patterns out there. There's a lot of flashy stuff, but 99% of the time as a drummer and percussionist and somebody who plays in service to others, either as a music educator, an ensemble member, a music therapist, whatever I'm doing, I'm usually playing something pretty simple and very repetitive and steady. And so that's the most useful thing that you can do on your drum, in my opinion, is play something simple, steady, just solid. So that's what we're going for. I want to help you become that kind of drummer so that you can be effective and a good ensemble partner, so that you can be supportive as a music educator while people are learning to play other things, so that you could be effective if you're in the therapy or helping professions, so that you can better meet the needs of anybody that you're serving, playing with, teaching, just partnering with, whatever it is. I want you to do a better job in that, because that's important, right? I think maybe the most important thing we can do is to be a good partner. But I also want to help you develop your own rhythmic vocabulary. So let's get right to it. Let's stop yapping. Let's stop flapping. And let's start playing. All right, so we got the overhead view right here. And I also have a side view that we'll go to some of the time, but right now we're going to stick with this. The first thing we're going to do is tune into the hand pattern. Super simple, you guys. We're just going to use a hand, alternating hand. Some people call this hand over hand. I call it alternating. Right, left, whatever. And if you're left-handed, of course, reverse all this stuff. But right now, we're just going to do right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. So I encourage you to have a drum or something, tabletop, or your lap, or whatever it is, right in front of you. Hopefully your lap's in front of you. You didn't leave it behind, did you? So play along with me, and we're going to start off really simply with just tapping 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and leading with your preferred hand. I'm playing right-handed for now. So this is our basic hand pattern. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Keep that going and listen. And then when you're ready, you can do what I do, all right? So I'm going to start to put some notes. And right now, I'm using open tones and muted tones, or just, you could call it a bass or a muted tone, or a dead stroke. All right, so we're outlining 1, 3, 1, 3. Now we could just do 1. Nothing wrong with that, all right, as a grounding rhythm. Let's go back to 1 and 3. Now to make this a little more interesting and to clearly outline that it's a 4-beat phrase, we can add a note. 1, 2, 3, 4, the downbeat. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Simple, you guys. Don't worry. You're gonna learn more. It's gonna get more complicated. Now let's change it up. Now we're putting 3 notes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now let's get the left hand involved a little more. 1, 3, 4, and 1. Right, left, right. 4 and 1. 4 and 1. Let's throw beat 3 in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is play slowly, in addition to playing while you're talking. All right. Can you do a variation here? Whatever you want. And 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. So I'm going to start varying what I'm doing. Now, of course, you can follow me and play what I play, or you can listen and then try this again later, or you can play something else and see how our patterns complement each other. The main goal for me, though, is I'm going to try to play things that I think are what we call grounding, which means they outline the beat and they outline the measure, the meter. So they always kind of outline where the 1 is, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So let's just play a little bit. More. And then we're going to level up, you guys. All right. All right. So let's talk about some concepts real quick. So we've got 2 main concepts right now. We've got alternating hands. Didn't change hand pattern, right, the entire time. Actually, it's kind of difficult. So that is a discipline that you need to practice, all right? And I would recommend that if you want to become a better drummer, in other words, if you want drumming to be easier and more flowing for you, and you don't have to think about it as much, I would spend a lot of time just doing that, alternating, just back and forth, and then talk to somebody, or, you know, I don't know, read something or whatever. Although I don't recommend watching TV while you practice. I don't recommend that because you need to pay attention to what you're doing. But do that one thing and then do something else so that you get used to that. Now, you can call that multitasking or chunking together a couple things, right? And that'll help you. The other main concept that we had was outlining the meter, right? So always moving towards the downbeat and accentuating the downbeat, the one, and not abandoning it. So all the patterns that I just played, I was always playing the downbeat pretty much because people need that. Now, if you're playing with other people and the downbeat is very obvious in the music, so if your partner or the group as a whole is outlining the downbeat, then you don't have to do that. You don't have to replicate that. But if it's not there, then what I want you guys to do is mark it, right? Mark the downbeat. So that's kind of the other thing, the main thing that we're paying attention to. And then as a third thing, I would say that what I did there in that example is I started to move away from the steady beat hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I started working more with the upbeat hand, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so we ended up with what we call syncopation. Syncopation just means anything that's off the main beat. So if you think about funk music, where their patterns are very, they have a lifting kind of feel and offbeat feel, that's what syncopation is. And syncopation is fun. I played a couple patterns in there that did outline some of the offbeat notes. And what you'll find in a lot of music from around the world is that offbeat notes or accents are what give a rhythm its identity, and they're also what helps tie different rhythms together, like in the case of Afro-Cuban music, music from the Caribbean, music from West Africa, especially where there's something that we call clave, right, the clave rhythm. Things tie together through these kind of shared downbeats and offbeats. So that's another thing that if you're not aware of, you want to start tuning into that and pay attention to those things. And that will allow you to choose consciously which notes, which offbeats are going to align with certain fundamental rhythms such as clave. And I'll give you more examples of that coming right up. So let's get into part 2 of this lesson and this play along. And what we're going to do now is we're going to double up our hands because this will get a lot more interesting right now. So what I'm going to do is put the click back on, and then we're going to do double time with our hands. So we started here, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now we're going to double it up. And 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And in a way, this is a lot easier because this is more used to what I'm doing. So if you're not used to doing this, the first thing I want you to do is just try to play alternating, right? Get that little motor going. This is really important, and this is almost, well, this is what we call a roll, right? It's a single stroke roll. Usually we do rolls fast, pretty fast, but this is a single stroke roll. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4. So just pay attention to the triangle sound and the click. And we're going to do the same thing we did before. Maybe just start marking the downbeat. And then we can move on to 2 notes, 3, just like we did before. So the first thing I want to invite you to do is use your preferred hand, your downbeat hand. But notice that now your downbeat hand, in this case my right hand, it's doing everything that both of my hands were doing before, right? So I still have the downbeats and I still have the upbeats. And 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So the first thing I'd like you to do is play around with that. And let's play some different patterns, but not engaging our other hand yet. And this will be a step, right? You can play what I play or play something that you want to play. the notes that you're not playing, not bringing out, they don't have to be loud. You could do bass tones. You can do some lighter touches, whatever. And when you practice on your own, spend a lot more time on each pattern. I'm changing it up pretty quick just to give you some examples. But when you practice, you know, maybe try to do a pattern for at least a minute before you move on, all right? Really let that stuff sink in. All right, now we're going to engage our other hand. This is where it really starts to get fun, you guys. So we're going to start to bring out notes in the other hand. So I'll give you some examples. And you can, again, you can do what I do, you can play what I play, or you can play your own thing, or you can listen and then go back and try it. Here we go. I'm still outlining the downbeat. Let's go to the side view. Hand pattern is the same. Right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left. I was kind of doing something there that I recommend that you not do. So I, just as I'm playing, I noticed that I was dragging on the head a little. Now I'm exaggerating it. But sometimes I see people doing that, like pulling, dragging their hands on the head. I don't recommend that, just because it's kind of extraneous movement. And it's not necessary, and it can, I think it can become kind of a weird tick, you know, when you're playing, so try not to do that, unless you're going for that specifically, but don't do it unconsciously. Now we're doing more upbeats. De-emphasizing the downbeat. I'm doing some different tones, but you don't have to. You can just do open tones and mutes. But if you want to throw in a little slap tone, if you know how to do that. If you don't worry about it right now. Just play whatever you want. It's more about the accent. if you get a pattern that has a very distinctive feature, right, like this one, you can just change like one note. So we'll start with this, 40 and a 1, 40 and a 1, right? And then just maybe add one thing. Right? And now you've got a different pattern. And you can also take away things, like I just did. And a 1, and a 1, 2, and a 1, a 2, and a 1, a 2. All right? And then I just added another note right there. Now it's kind of outlining clave, right? And a 1, ding 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 ding. And then let's go back to something simple. Now, even when you're doing this double pattern, double, you know, the 1E and a 2E and a 3E, and your playing can still be fairly simple. You just keep this little motor going, right? But we can still play a simple rhythm. And 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And then dress it up a little. But keep that downbeat going. Keep the meter. And then when you're playing with people, you know, you have to just see what happens. Now sometimes people will want to try stuff, right? They want to try things that are fancy, and maybe you do too. But the problem is, or the, you know, I wouldn't say it's a problem, but the result often is that it's destabilizing. So what'll happen is, for example, if somebody starts doing something like playing all the upbeats, it can be challenging for other people, and then they will fall off the rhythm. All right, you guys, let's wrap up with a review of the main concepts that I introduced in this video. So number one, you can play simple patterns, and I believe simple patterns are very helpful because one, they're grounding. They help people and you know, stay on the beat, represent the beat, represent to the meter. So not just the steadiness of the pulse, you know, the tempo, but also what is the cycle? Is it 4 beats, 3 beats, 5 beats, 7 beats? What is it? And what's the feel? Is it a 4/4? Is it 2/4? Is it 6/8? What is it? So outlining the meter is important in music making because that provides the bones, right, for the music. 3, we had alternating handing, alternating sticking or handing. Right, left, or left, right, doesn't matter. That's another big one because you can then extract all sorts of rhythms once your hands are going. You know, you don't have to change the hand pattern. So this is another big advantage that I'm sharing with you guys in case you didn't know, because when you learn different rhythm patterns, sometimes you'll learn, oh, you've got to do 2 in this hand and 2 in this hand and stop this and do this, and it's not balanced. And that is, while, you know, that could be traditional, that could be correct, it's not that easy, and it's not always necessary to play patterns of that type. I really like the alternating thing. It just keeps the motor going. It keeps everything smooth and flowing, especially if you know, drumming is not your main instrument or you're kind of new to drumming. So either if you're a new drummer or you're another instrumentalist, but you want to access drums and play rhythms, I would just do that. Just keep your hands moving. And, you know, there's plenty of rhythms that you can play, and you can get a lot of variation that way. Number 4, we subdivided the beat. We first had just a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and there's nothing wrong with any of that. It's good to be simple. I hear it's a gift. Then we subdivided that. 1E and a 2E and a just alternating. And then we talked about downbeats and then also syncopated notes. So as we introduce syncopation or syncopated notes, we end up with the opportunities to create more variation, also to connect with different universal rhythms like clave, like the clave rhythm, or whatever it is. And we can then tune into and connect with other players, other rhythms, and we can support those rhythms, but we can play our own rhythm at the same time. We can play our own pattern and connect with those fundamental universal rhythms, which is super exciting for you guys, all right? And then lastly, I did mention that if you get too syncopated and too off the main beats, it can have a destabilizing impact on either yourself with regard to playing with a pulse or another player, or you can end up kind of knocking other people off the beat, which happens, believe me, especially if you're playing like with a master drummer and they're playing a lot of complicated stuff, or they're doing some soloing, or they're playing polyrhythmic, and it's not always that easy to even keep, you know, what you're doing on the beat when you're listening to somebody else who's playing over the beat or around the beat, you know, or playing a lot of syncopated stuff. So that's something that you can practice. What I recommend from here is to practice all the things that I just showed you. Use a simple click or a basic beat, and then just start really simple. Practice at a medium tempo. What is our tempo right here? I think it's 80 or something. Yeah, it's 80. So this click was 80 beats per minute, just FYI. And then if you can get your hands on some recordings that, like, you know, albums, CDs, whatever, that have some drum solos on them, it would be helpful for you to practice playing a simple pattern or whatever pattern you want while you're listening to a drum solo or some complex drumming. And that will help you build up your, what we call fortitude. Fortitude is your ability to withstand pressure, you know, outside pressure. It's, can I stay on my path even though there's, you know, there's wind and rain and people throwing things at me, and can I just stay where I am, right? That's fortitude. And then if you fall off the beat, you know, if you lose track of where you are, if you lose your orientation, you can stop and then get back on. Stop, listen, get your orientation, and rejoin the rhythm. And the faster you can do that, we call that resiliency, right? Resiliency is how fast can I snap back from being pulled out of shape, basically. All right, so if you get knocked off the rhythm or you lose your place, it's okay. What professional musicians do is they are very good at recovering from, you know, a little bobble. And most people, you know, if you're just listening to a band, for example, you probably wouldn't even notice, because professional musicians, you know, we've been doing this a long time, so we kind of feel like, oh, I'm getting a little bit off here. Let me make a correction. So we're good at making corrections in like a split second. So most people probably wouldn't notice. We would know, but the listener probably wouldn't even notice. But when you're a beginner and when you're learning, your corrections are going to be way bigger, so they're going to be more obvious. And please, you guys, don't beat yourself up if you fall off the beat or you lose track or whatever. It's fine. Everybody has to go through the same learning process and the same developmental process, so it's perfectly fine. Don't beat yourself up about it, all right? Just keep moving, stop, listen, And remember that stop, look, and then cross. So we're going to stop, listen, and then we're going to join back in when it's safe to do so, all right? We don't want anybody engaging in a rhythm incident. All right, you guys. Hey, I appreciate you guys a lot, and I appreciate you stopping by and studying with me. If you'd like to study with me more, there's a lot more lessons, courses, all kinds of good stuff at patreon.com/Kalani. Links down below. You can start some of the courses for free. Again, links down below in the description. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications. I'm Kalani. This is World Drum Club. I'll see you guys in another video. Now go out and play some groovy rhythms. I'll see you guys later.